In a calmer world, you would have just been introducing us at the Gabba.
Exactly.
And the premiership coach, Chris Fagan, was going to come and sit with us at the desk.
Yes, he was.
So we thought, given all our attention is towards South East Queensland at the moment, bugger it, let's touch base with him and just see how he's doing.
Bugger it, let's do it.
Chris Fagan, great to have you on AFL 360. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Gerard and Garry. I would have preferred it we'd be at the game, but nature's taken its course.
How is it out the window out there at the moment?
It's just a bit of light drizzle here in Brisbane. I think it's pretty wet down on the Gold Coast at the moment. They're coppering a bit of a battering at the moment. Though we expect it here sometime late tomorrow, I think. It's an eerie feeling up here at the moment.
Yeah, so what is the mood of the people when you've been out on your famous walks?
Well, this morning there were a lot of people out having a walk. It seemed like everyone was out thinking it might be the last time they get the opportunity for a few days. So it's quieting down now. So I think everyone's just at home doing all the things that they need to do to make their houses as safe as possible.
Fags, you arrived at the conclusion that the game probably shouldn't go on for all the right reasons early in the piece, and you had to wait for the AFL to catch up. What was that like?
Well, I mean, the AFL have probably got a lot more to think about than what we do, so they had to consider quite a few things. For me, it seemed obvious. You know, it's not a tropical thunderstorm, as I said. It's a cyclone. I've never been in one. I don't know what it'll be like, but I think you know, you could see during the week that our players started to talk about it more and more. They're a bit more worried about it. It was the unideal sort of preparation for our first game, and you know, I could imagine that the Geelong players would have been a little bit reticent to fly up here, not knowing if they would be able to get out. So it's a common sense decision and well made.
So talk us through the contact time now with the playing group and how you stay in touch and how you perhaps put their fears to rest to some degree, but also bearing in mind that you have got a game and a season that starts in the following week. How are you handling all the machinations there?
Yeah, there's a few logistics. We decided very quickly to play a full-on practice game yesterday morning because we expected tonight the cyclone was going to hit, but so we played 4x30 yesterday, which was great to be able to do that. Then we had a good chat to the players after that around all the stuff to do with safety and cyclones, because a lot of those young boys like me haven't experienced anything like this, so we wanted them to be prepared. They're all home at the moment. They would be getting out today and doing a little bit of recovery, and they probably will tomorrow if the weather hasn't come in. But then we just have to batten down the hatches for when the cyclone actually does arrive, and we're not really sure about whether we'll be able to meet again Sunday or Monday. So a few things up in the air at the moment, and of course the other thing is we don't know what sort of effect it's going to have on Brisbane and Queensland in general. So you know, whether there'll be grounds available when the cyclone passes or not, you know, we might have to consider asking the AFL, can we go down to Sydney a bit earlier for our game next week? Of course, as long as you know, our families aren't in danger. So it's there's a few things up in the air at the moment.
Yeah, so there's obviously a sense of uneasiness in the community, and then there's the football consideration. So maybe just the first part, as you say, you haven't lived through it, and boys haven't lived through it either. Watching from afar, it's like the tension building in a movie. This is the slow approach, with nobody really knowing what it's going to be like when it gets there. Is it uneasy?
It feels like we're back in COVID at the moment, not knowing what's going to happen from one day to the next. But you know, all we can do is make sure that we're safe and make that our priority at the moment. We're all a little bit in the unknown, I guess, so that's a reasonably uneasy place to be.
Are you all staying in contact somehow throughout, Fags? What have you sort of set up for everybody?
Yeah, so we will if we can. I mean, we don't know if you know, telecommunications are going to go down or not, but we certainly are while we can, where we need to keep the players fully informed about what's going on. So yeah, we're doing the best that we can in that regard, but we don't really know what's going to happen, whether we'll lose that ability or not sometime in the next 48 hours.
It is such an extraordinary circumstance, and it's unprecedented. So you don't know about the destruction, you don't know the facilities that you're going to have post the event, whenever that may take place. So, you know, we've seen the NRL, they've talked about moving their games and the interruption to a really finely tuned program. Your playing group on the back of a premiership, on the back of another year's experience, you're confident that, you know, they can handle this and cope with this in the manner that's going to hold you in good stead?
Yeah, I hope so, Gary. I mean, I've been thinking about that a little bit the last few days, even thinking about myself and how I handle it. I mean, you know, there are some things we can't control, so we just have to roll with the punches, a bit like the COVID year, which is what we had to do then. It feels pretty much similar to that right now. So, you know, hopefully there's no or very little devastation or none whatsoever, and we can all get on with our lives pretty quickly. But I'm not sure if that's going to be the case.
Round 3 is going to be the displaced game, so that seemed to make perfect sense on the Saturday night. Are you satisfied with that?
Oh, 100%. It seemed obvious. You know, I immediately looked to when Geelong had a bye and noticed it was round 3, so it made sense to me, and the AFL have made that decision, so we'll look forward to that game. I think it's a 6:35 game on a Saturday in round 3, so you know, it'll be a big night up here at the Gabba, and hopefully the Gabba's still standing. You know, that's another thing we have to consider. You know, if there's any damage to any of the facilities that we play on, so we'll just have to wait and see.
She is an old bird, the Gabba, isn't she?
It is a little bit. I reckon some of those bolts that are holding the stands together might be a little bit old and rusty like me. So hopefully they can get the job done.
Just, Fags, before we let you go, just in the interest of our preparation, how did that match go yesterday? Give us a little summation.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, we had our A team playing our B team, so it was a little bit lopsided. But there were some good performances. I mean, Charlie Cameron played forward pocket yesterday, kicked 9 goals, 2 and had 32 possessions. Worked that one out.
He's wasted one.
It was extraordinary. I hope he hasn't wasted all that good form on an inter-club practice game. But no, it was a really good hit out. It was nice and warm. We had played for 120 minutes. The GPS readings from training were very, very good. I thought we played with good intensity until about the last 15 minutes, and then
a bit like our shot.
Yeah, that's the job done. We just broke up at the end there. Right, as you go, we played to the last 15 minutes and it felt like tools down, and your tools went down as well.
Sorry about that.
So just as we finish, your first game now will be the grand final rematch, which is loaded, and as you point out, it is in Sydney. So I know there's more to worry about in the coming days than that, but does a coach's mind go to, I hope we do get a fair preparation to be in the best nick possible for that game?
Oh, 100%, and that's the concern at the moment. It's all unknown. Now, right now we've had a really good preparation, and if we can get back to training on Sunday or Monday, then that would be ideal. You know, but you know, we don't know how much rain's going to fall. We don't know whether we'll have ovals available, all those sorts of things. So, you know, maybe we might need to talk to the AFL about the idea of coming down to Sydney. Let's say on Tuesday, so we can do our training down there and be ready for the game, and that will be provided. Of course, all of our families are safe up here, but that's the key consideration now, and I'm sure the AFL are thinking about that as well.
Fags, we really appreciate your time. Stay safe. We've all got our fingers crossed for you, and we'll see you out the other side.
Yeah, I just hope for everybody up here that there's no real damage. So, yeah, we'll see you soon.
Good on you. Chris Fagan, the premiership coach, with us from Brisbane.
You can't imagine a better man at the helm. I mean, he just inspires a calmness, you know, understanding the gravity of the situation, what they've been through over the past 12 or 18 months, and him personally, and they'll deal with this. But it does provide all sorts of different and interesting scenarios. Being stuck at home and not being able to get out and do what they need to do at this time in their preparation, you're like, the horses are trained to the minute.
Yep.
You know, they were ready to bounce out in an hour and a half. So it's just got to hold themselves back. And the added difficulty of not, perhaps after tomorrow, being able to get out and have a bit of a run.
Charlie's 9 goals too.
That's a waste,
Cyclone.
Gerard.
That might go into folklore, you know. As
a player, sometimes you play in a practice match and you just have one of those days and you go, God, that is just a complete waste of a 9-goal 2 performance. I pity the poor fella playing on him.